Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by my co-host, Master Distiller Sean Rigsby, and our special guest, Johnny Griffis. Did I say it right?
That's it.
My man. Johnny was a contestant on Master Distiller, and you're on the show Alabama Shine.
Yep, that's it.
Hell yeah. So tell us a little bit about
You jumping ahead, Sean. You're getting too eager.
hold on. I'll be right back.
He had to go get his Busch Light apples. So we always start the show. What you drinking on? If you're drinking on anything you'd like to talk about, and
juice, cafe.
Keeps you going, man. I just got some good clear from a distillery down the road. Some old Tucking Reds.
I've tried to drink coffee, and I can't drink coffee no kind of which way you doctor it up. So I kind of do my Mountain Dew in the mornings and the evenings.
Yeah, I'm a Mountain Dew guy in the morning myself.
Yeah. Doctor the coffee up every which way you could, almost like a milk. I just can't take the coffee.
I'm not a coffee guy, so
no,
that's not my thing. So.
But yeah, I'm just drinking.
Did you get your Busch Light apples? So
I got a few left.
So tonight, Sean is only allowed to drink Busch Light apples because the last show he drank almost that whole jar, and he was so shitty by the end of the show. And he called off work 2 days in a row.
That was with Uncle Dum Dum. I seen him in that apple pie last week.
Oh, he got way too heavy in that apple pie last week.
I didn't get to finish watching, but I seen him getting into it as it went on.
It was a progression, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So what are you drinking, Easy?
I just got some clear from Tucking Reds Distillery up in Yellow Springs.
Tucking Reds.
Yeah. I finally popped open their jar of corn liquor I got from them after I finished off their peach. So,
how you like the corn liquor?
Man, that's good corn liquor.
No, clean corn liquor or good corn liquor?
It's good clean. It's good corn liquor. Come on, man. We're trying to put that in my mouth. Nah, they make good shit out there, man. If you're ever in Yellow Springs, Ohio, stop by Old Tucking Reds. And I haven't tried anything I ain't liking from there. And the old ladies like the wine they make, and they make a homemade wine. They go out dandelion wine. He said once a year he goes out and picks them, and they make a big old batch. So
I actually got a bottle of it still in here unopened.
Nice,
pretty good. But so let's get into it.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, good shit. Everybody wants to talk about, But so how'd you get started, man? What got you going? And I say, was it something you've been doing it for a long time, or?
I've been doing it about 15 years now. I just something I got interested in. I was only interested in it, and then the Moonshiners took off there. It's been about 12 seasons. So a few years before that, I got interested in it, and started with a little small still. There's an old timer in my area was known for making it for years, and got to be friends with him. So he kind of taught me a little bit and helped me get set up and started making it. And then the Moonshiners started coming on season one and kept progressing. And I just kind of got a little further along into it as it went.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
What a better way than to learn from an old timer. Like I wish I had me an old timer. What an awesome way. Just a good story to have, and to know like you learn from somebody who's done it forever, and so I'd be super cool to learn from an old timer.
Only bad thing about me learning from that old timer is I kind of followed his footsteps one too many times. He passed away a year ago, December, and he actually went to jail 3 times for making liquor back in the early 70s. So I didn't go 3 times, but I at least followed in his footsteps once.
Hopefully that's it.
Still young, man. The day's still young.
I don't know what to do. He did.
Yeah. So what did he run? I mean, was it corn or?
Yeah, he said he run corn. He said back then it was predominantly wanting some rye. So he run a lot of rye, but he run corn also. He did, the flavors wasn't out back then, apple pie and peach and all.
Yeah.
He pretty much run either a rye or a corn. And at the height of his career, they was running several huge submarine stills, and he told me that they was putting out about 160 gallon every 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and they had one guy that would come take everything they made. No matter if they had 10 gallon or 10,000 gallon, he come bought everything they had and took it off.
That's pushing liquor, that's for sure.
Yep. Yep. He made it for a long time, and last time he got caught, he wound up doing 18 months. Well, and he got out on parole after 4 months, and the very next day he started bootlegging some across the county line, and some boys with him wanting to stop and get a beer. It was happy hour. And he told them, no, I don't need to do that. But they stopped, and he had a reputation for not taking a whole lot of shit from nobody. Everybody knowed him. His reputation preceded him. So we'll go in the bar there, and some other guys said they from across the river in another county said, we're going to run them back across the bridge. And the bartender told him, so that old guy over there with the gold teeth ain't going to run. And sure enough, fight broke out. He wound up stabbing a couple of them, getting cut himself, and they come got him the next day, so he had to go back and do the original 18 months after getting out 4 months on parole.
Damn.
Damn happy hour gets you every time.
Happy
Every time.
Yeah. So, what's some of your methodologies? I mean, do you run a thumper? Do you rerun things? Do you
Yeah, I do it a little different than most everybody else. I don't use a thumper. I double distill it. I'll run it and put the product back in and rerun it. To me, it just kind of cooks it out a little better and get a little cleaner product out. Also, on my mash, I don't heat cook my grain up. I do a cold mash.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of do it a little different than everybody else.
That's like I'll tell you who else does that is Robert Bondurant over there in Virginia.
Okay. Special Valentine over in Kentucky also does it.
Oh, does he?
He does cold mash.
Huh. And does he also double back it like you do, rerun it?
He runs a thumper, but he does the cold mash. I've run a thumper a time or two, and like I say on Master Distiller, I had to run a thumper because there's no way possible to double distill and put a jar on the table in 4 hours.
Yeah. Right.
What episode was you on?
I was on season 1, episode 2, American Whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was on there. The Undertaker out of New York, a good friend of mine, Peter Phelps. He out of Phelps, New York, won that.
Yep. You have that famous corn liquor that you did.
I did. Well, see, it was kind of confusion because they told me I was going to run a corn liquor. I'll get there. Casey was a doctor out of West Virginia, and Peter, he owns his owns his own funeral home up there in New York. They asked me why I was ringing. They told me to bring stuff to make the corn liquor with. Well, I get there, we mashing in, and I look over to my left, and the guy's got 4 or 5 grains and refractometers and hydrometers and all this stuff. And same on my right, here he is, old redneck from Alabama with a sack of corn, some sugar, and yeast. I'm out of my league right off the get-go.
It's simple, man. It works every time, you know.
Everybody brings their own thing, you know, and they all do their own thing well, and you know, so I think it's cool, you know, and all these different ways and different schemes, and
yeah. Like I say, I was supposed to. I didn't realize it until about halfway through the show. It was actually a whiskey division. So it was like a 4 grain of whiskey, and it was a mix up because I talked to McGill and they told me to bring my ingredients, make corn whiskey, and they know my mash bill and all that. And about halfway through it, that's when I realized that, you know, it was Kevin Gordon come up to me and said, you realize you're in a whiskey division, right? Me thinking, yeah, corn liquor, corn whiskey. I said, I didn't pay no attention to it. And then come to find out it was actually like a 4 grain whiskey, American whiskey. I was making just a straight corn whiskey.
Well, McGill always gets everything together. It's always a little later than you think it should be.
Yeah. Well, see, I replied, and it was like months later. I done forgot about it, and got a phone call on a Thursday and telling me to be there Monday.
Yeah, I've heard quite a bit. I've heard quite a few guys say, like, man, I hear nothing about them for months or a year, and then all of a sudden they call me, can you be here in 3 days?
That's exactly right. It was on a Thursday evening. I had completely forgot about it and seen a New York number. I didn't answer the first time. But I ain't got your store with a name in my phone. I don't answer it. And they called back again, so I answered it, and it was McGill. I actually forgot even about applying. I done forgot about it. It took so long.
Yeah, I actually applied back, when when Jimbo for the pilot episode, they called me and then the same thing. They're like, oh well, you'll hear something whether we want to use you or not. I'm like, okay, never heard nothing. And Jimbo was like, hey man, I'm going out here filming. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, I'll tell you how Jimbo done it. He sent them several audition tapes and so forth, and never got back nothing out of them. He finally got a little ill with them. He kind of sent them a nasty little email telling me, hey, I don't guess you want a fucking real moonshiner. You want an actor on TV or something like that. But if you want somebody to make real liquor, you call me, I'll come up. And after sending a little nasty email to him, he got a call, and rest is history.
Hell yeah. Well, that's kind of how they did me on season 1 too. They called me and they said, you still interested? I'm like, yeah. Nothing. Heard nothing. Then I seen, they're getting ready to release it, and I'm like, okay. Then season 2 is finally when they called me.
Right.
And they said, hey, can you be down here in 2 weeks? But,
yep, they called me on a Thursday and told me to be there Monday morning, 8:00.
Oh yeah. So did you enjoy the experience, or did you think it was going to be more of what it was, or?
Oh no. I tell you, I was amazed after watching the final product on TV compared to what we filmed. It's amazing what they can do with that editing, but it does wonders. So we kind of filmed way out. We went in and mastered our signature stuff from my home in. And then we went and done I think we run Jim Tom's rye recipe. And after the way we done it and in the order we done it, I'm surprised it come out like it did. The editing button does wonders.
I mean, it could do everything except make Sean look better. So
that's why I'm no longer on there, and they won't put me back.
They didn't have enough CGI back then. They might be able to do something now. It's a little more advanced.
Yeah. Well, they say, like for every camera puts on 5 pounds, they had to have like 15, 20 on my ass.
I don't know, man. I saw your episode the other day. You looked a little slimmer back then. I think being a big time celebrity in Busch Light Apples has got you putting a few on. So
we'll go with the Busch Light Apples.
All right. Well, hey Johnny, what's your favorite thing to make for yourself to drink?
Pretty much as far as make wise, I'm pretty much known around here and kind of stuck to just a good corn liquor.
Nice.
I made a lot of flavors. I mean, it wasn't interesting flavor to start with, but you kind of gotta make what everybody else likes. It ain't what you like so much.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're trying to make a profit,
Yeah,
if you're just making it for yourself, then you'd be real select and make exactly what you want to drink. So
yeah, you don't get very far that way. Now let's just do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, what are you a copper steel guy? You a stainless steel guy? Like a stainless pot and copper from there, or what's your?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first started with a 4-quart, no, let's see, 4-gallon stainless steel pressure cooker, about 15 foot of copper coal, a 5-gallon bucket, and packed my worm with ice. And it worked, but it also sent me to the burn unit in Mobile, Alabama, for about 3 days.
That question is on my list. Do you have a moonshine story that almost killed you? We haven't had one in a while, so now you brought that up. You might elaborate a little for us on how you wound up burning your ass up.
I had just started making liquor at the time, and my son helped him a little bit, and I had an uncle to help me quite a bit. And we made the mash, and we couldn't actually wait for the mash to work off the first time, so we went and bought some box wine out of a store just to distill it, mess around with it, and we did. And then mash got ready, and we started running a little of it through the pressure cooker and so forth, and packed the 5-gallon bucket full of ice, and as it melted, it kept it, condensed or whatever. So I kind of honed it in and got it where it was pretty good, and I made quite a bit of liquor that way. And then, them little rubber seals that go around them pressure cookers, I done learned. I know better now. I was actually being lazy, but that little small kernel of corn would get stuck in between the seal. And I done figured it out. Instead of, letting it cool down, take it off, clean it, whatever, I could take something heavy and kind of tap it and it would seal. Well, this one time I tapped it, it didn't seal. It done just the opposite.
Ooh.
They started pumping liquor out and caught a fire. And I had 2 5-gallon buckets of stuff had already been doubled. And when it caught on fire, it melted them buckets. So I got 10 gallons of high-proof liquor on a concrete floor with the alcohol burning off. It catches a 84 quart cooler on fire. The plastic's melting. So we kind of had a catastrophe going on. So we got it beat out, and I wasn't going to go to the hospital. And after the adrenaline stopped pumping, I realized then it was time to go to the hospital. And they said that I'd inhaled a lot of the flames and all, and they was worried about my throat closing. So they wanted to life flight me, and I told them I wasn't going to fly. I never flew before, and I wasn't going to fly. So they put me by ambulance and sent me down there for about 3 days.
My man, it's me. And, I don't care. I don't care.
And I have flown, and it was on life flight, but I don't remember it. But I have flown at least one time since then.
So what exactly happened with that one? Are you referring to the bike accident?
Yes, I didn't realize it. And my cousin called me. I just got a brand new Indian Challenger. And he got an Indian Roadmaster, and he wanted to go riding. And I didn't feel the best that day, but I wasn't really sick. So I figured I'd get out, get a little sun and some wind and feel better. So we ride down Highway 29, get to a Molina crossroads there, and go cut back across Alabama. We stop and get a drink, so forth. And heading down 97, headed to the Alabama line, and I had cruise control set at about 60, just cruising on through there. And all of a sudden, I felt weird, like I was supposed to pass out. So I reached to grab the handlebars to mash the brake, stop the cruise. I didn't make it. I passed out across the tank. It still took me at 60 down the highway, coming up on the curve with traffic coming. So my cousin behind me said all he could think to do is right up beside me and kick the back, send it through the field versus the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Right before he got to me, it's turned on its own. So it goes over across a ditch, goes across one net wire fence, a privacy fence, then it actually hits a ditch and jumps in the air, and it goes across a barbed wire fence. And if it wasn't been for the fairing on the motorcycle, it probably took my head off at about 60. It took the brunt of that, and it goes on out in the field and comes to a stop. I come to on life flight, finna land at the hospital for about 2 seconds. I come to and I look up and I see a guy in a green helmet with look like a microphone in it down here like this. And I said, "What the hell is going on?" And he said, "You've been in an accident, motorcycle." He said, "Just hold tight. We landed." And not only did I hold tight, I passed back out, I guess. And come to find out, I actually had COVID, and it caused my potassium and my sodium to go bottom out, which caused me to pass out on the motorcycle.
Damn.
So here was, I broke my nose, fractured my eye socket, my cheek, broke 5 ribs, cracked my right elbow, my right shin, my right heel. I then had COVID and had to cough constantly with them broke ribs and that broke nose and fractured eye socket. Wasn't too good.
So I'd say you've had a rough year.
I did. And then, like I say, in about 16 months span, that happened. And then the arrest we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So what?
Year for sure.
So the arrest that you're talking about now, what exactly happened with that? How did that go?
Well, I had a shed that I, had a little moonshine shack that I made a little liquor in. And I hadn't made it in a little while. I had mashed in and it got ready. And I walked out to the shed and was out for a couple of hours letting it heat up. And it still had a little time to go. So I walk in my house for a minute. I was just sent my wife to town. I walk in my house for a minute. I ain't in the house but maybe 2 minutes. Hear a knock at the door. Boom, boom, boom. State of Alabama search warrant. Well, I got a cousin used to mess with me all the time. He'd say some crazy shit like that knocking on the door. Well, I'm in the back of my house and I hear that. I says, "Well, bring your big ass in." I said, "I'll be with you in a minute." Well, they didn't come in. They kept back and State of Alabama search warrant. I told him, I said, "Bring your big ass in. If you don't come on in, I'm going to put a foot in your ass when you do come in." Well, finally, he kept banging. So I go in the living room and I hear a bunch of them out there. I said, "Well, damn, he's either got company or that's the real police today." So I go to the door, open the door, and I look, there's about 15 of them out there with rifles on me, telling me to throw my hands up and come to them. So I began to do that. Well, my wife's got a half lab, half pit stays in the house. And she ain't never really acted aggressive, but she was raising hell and barking, looking that away. Well, one of the officers said, what about that dog over there? I said, what about her? He says, was she back? I said, I don't know. He said, what you mean you don't know? It's your dog. Well, my dumb ass and smart mouth wasn't thinking. I said, well, ordinarily she ain't got 15 idiots out there with guns looking in, screaming at her, but neither. I said, I don't know if she'll bite or not. Well, he told me, well, turn around and get your dog and bring her out here and put her on this run line you got out here in the yard. I started to, and it just clicked with me for some reason. I said, don't turn your back on them. I said, no. I said, I'm not going to turn my back. I said, you know, I could be not complying, or you saying I'm reaching for a weapon. No. So one of them told me just kind of keep my eyes on them and kind of do the limbo, bend back, and get her by the collar, bring her out. Mm-hmm. So they put her on the run line. I said, then they handcuffed me, set me outside on the swing, and give it a search warrant, tell me they're there for them, what they're there for, and so forth. So they go in the shed. The liquor's running. They didn't cut it off. Held it run for another 10 minutes after they got there.
So someone needs you guys to stand here for a few hours.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I kind of thought myself, I said, ain't he illegally doing what I was doing for 10 minutes without cutting it off?
Get your big old horn out of that worm. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah, that's right. Well, one of them was actually talking about that it was pretty cool when he was talking about his granddaddy used to be a bootlegger. And it wasn't local. It was actually the state that got me for Montgomery.
Really?
Yeah. And I tell you, come to find, I didn't know it at the time. The drones is what got me. If anybody, you know, a lot of times you walk and everybody's caught up in looking at the text messages or Facebook or whatever, and they on the phone. And you know, if you don't recognize some of these kids top of their head, you won't know them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you do what we do, you better keep your eyes up too, because they will use a drone. That's what got me. And I go to jail about 7 o'clock at night. Don't get out to 7 next night. The next morning, about 11 o'clock, my partner, Jimbo Bray in Carbon Hill, they stopped him at a gas station right by his house, search him for liquor. And then the next day, drones flying over his house. They actually come low enough about chest high to try to look inside his building through the windows to see what was going on in his building. But he actually had them blacked out, which he didn't have nothing in there no how, you know. Right. But drones is the thing you need to watch for sure.
You know, all that money, all them resources for what?
I'm gonna tell you, I told them, look, the road you come down to get me for this little bit of liquor, you pass 4 meth houses on your way down.
Yeah,
to get me for a little bit of liquor.
Yeah. It's them shows, man, they made a lot of people popular.
Well, I'm telling you, they definitely did me.
Yeah. Yeah, you the popcorn Sutton of your area, I'd say.
Yeah, well, if you count to going to jail, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So, did they take your pot, or what did they do?
What's that now?
Did they take your pot, or they destroy it, or?
You know what was confusing is they took my pot, they cut it off, and I told them, so look, you better take that cap off of it. It's gonna suck it in. And anyway, they take it off, and I was waiting on it to cool. Well, I'm still thinking, you know, they're going to do me like they did Jonathan. They're going to, you know, do a federal indictment on me. I said, so I was trying to get them on out there. I said, look, if you take my water hose and open that bottom valve there and fill it up full of water, I said, it'll cool off. You can load it up and get gone. Needless, I didn't know that I was going to be in the back of the cop car and headed towards the jail myself, or I wouldn't be in such a rush.
So what did they actually arrest you for, did they say?
Oh, yeah. Start with, there was about 7 charges on me. Possession of a steel, illegal to possess in the state of Alabama. They said it's illegal in Alabama to possess any part of a steel. So you go get a 15-foot of copper coil and you coil it up, look like a worm, and they have nothing else with you, and you can get arrested for having a part of a steel in the state of Alabama.
That's crazy.
And then it got me for making untaxed alcohol, possession of untaxed alcohol, making it with intent to sell. I can't remember all the charges, but the ones that wound up sticking was possession of a steel and possession of untaxed alcohol. It was the 2 that was read to me in the court next morning at the bond hearing.
Damn.
Yeah, but see, they took the steel. They went in the house, took some flavored liquor I had. They took the 7 gallons I'd had run off at the actual one I was making when they was there, and cooked the steel. But the mash barrels was left with corn in them. Everything I'd ever seen, they destroyed everything, poked holes in the barrels and all.
Yeah.
All that for 7 gallons.
Yeah, they took the steel.
All
and they
that
took
for
the,
7 gallons.
Yeah.
Think about it, 7 gallons. All that, 15 officers, a whole day's worth of work, paperwork, all that bullshit.
I'd say longer than a whole day's worth of work. I mean, because they have.
Oh yeah, just you building up to it. I bet they spent $1 million.
Oh, I wasn't doubting
to clean up the streets and get 7 gallons.
Yeah,
what the?
I didn't realize it was such a big deal, but apparently it was.
Yeah,
and like you said, man, them 4 meth houses they drove past.
That could clean up the area.
That hurt a lot more people than 7 gallons of personal liquor I'm going to drink on.
They know about the meth houses, though.
Man.
They don't know about the houses and call them go stealing Cadillac converters and hurt pollution, all that stuff. That was different. But I was doing the bloodthirsty shit like making that.
Yeah.
So you're the still that you have. You said what size was that?
It was a 50 gallon.
50 gallon. Who built it?
Kevin Gordy.
Oh, Kevin.
Okay.
Yep, I got it from. I actually got that's the second one I got from him. I had a 30 and a 50, and got rid of the 30 when I got the 50, and they got rid of the 50 for me.
Hey, there ain't nowhere to go now but bigger, right? 600 gallon.
Donated it.
At the end, but right before I went to jail, the guy had the had my steel and the liquor and all that. Didn't put it on his truck yet. It was all sitting on the ground beside the truck. And then he looks at me and says, "All right, where's you and Jumbo's 600 gallon steel?" It kind of caught me off guard. I was like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, where's you and Jumbo's 600 gallon steel? I don't see a building around here big enough to hold a 600 gallon steel." Well, then I realized he was talking about the one that we had took a picture with, an illegal distillery. And I told him, I said, "Okay." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll carry you to it." He said, "Well, how far through the woods have we got to walk?" I told him about 212 miles to Birmingham, Alabama. And then you could tell his attitude changed and demeanor changed. And I got to ride in the back seat of a black SUV, following my steel paraded through town. They wouldn't lay it flat. They stood it up where everybody could see it and filled it full of water where wind wouldn't knock it over.
They say, man, they had somebody's winding up with that, man. The dude that was there all like, "Man, my grandpapa used to make liquor. He's making liquor on that still right now."
I'd much rather grab the hoe and poke a hole in the damn thing.
Yeah.
Well, I promise you, if he is, they ain't making a product good as what I put out of it.
Oh, hell no, they ain't.
Nope.
But they got it though.
Oh yeah. Now I wonder, are they going to put it in a museum somewhere? You think, or just?
Well, I figured either a museum or hell, who knows? Somebody may be running it by now.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right on that one.
Yeah, I call it kind of odd they didn't destroy it. Everything I've ever seen on old pictures, videos, so forth, they bust holes in the mash barrels, tear the steel up,
destroy it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I've been watching wrong videos because that wasn't accurate. Not this day.
See, right before, I think it was maybe a month, maybe or so before you had got busted, there was a pretty good size operation I seen they found in Alabama.
Yes, a huge operation, Bullitt County. I forgot how big it was, but it was huge to be out in the woods.
Yeah.
I want to say it was maybe a 30, 40 barrel operation.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, woods. You know, there's so many people that does things in barns and outbuildings and shit nowadays. I mean, it's almost an inconvenience to be in a woods somewhere.
Oh, it is. I mean, not only you got to like old timers used to turn around and had to look behind their backs and so forth. Now we got to look behind our back and look up too. Watching them drones and one of the local TV stations, bigger TV stations down here, actually stated the reason I got arrested is because on the TV show we was doing Alabama Shine, I bragged about escaping from the police, and that's not correct. And then the old timer that taught me how to make it, now he had done it several times. He was known. Every time you seen him, he'd always have a button-up shirt on with the sleeves cut out of it. And the reason he dressed like that is I'd have a T-shirt on. He told me, he said, "Boy," he said, "if they slip up on the creek on you and catch you," he said, "the entrepreneurs," he said, "what they would used to do back in the early 70s, he said, they'd take these little feeder pigs and put them out on the creek and would follow them. And they would smell that sour mash at the still and would find their way through that still site to eat. And they would get you. And he said they would reach and grab you by the hand and wrap that T-shirt up in the hand, and they'd got you. He said they wrap up and grab me by the collar. He said I throw my hands back and run. He said my sleeves is gone, so my arms come out. I bust them buttons. They hold my shirt. And I get on through the creek and get away. And he done that on several occasions. Well, the TV station said I got arrested due to bragging about getting away from the cops and eluding the cops from wearing a button-up shirt sleeve with no sleeves in it.
You know, media, they're gonna spin it how it sounds better every time.
Well,
so.
you wouldn't believe, so like you said, 7 gallons, and it wasn't just local. It went nationwide. I'd have people send me articles from Ohio, Chicago, California.
Our news channel picked it up, dude.
What's that?
Our news channel picked it up.
Oh yeah, it was everywhere.
Hey, my brother-in-law's secretary messaged him. He said we was watching the Paul Feinbaum show on the SEC network. Said, and it went off, and I think the show was called the Matt and McGee Show, and it was talking about Alabama and Auburn, Troy. And it was anyway. They opened up talking about Mama Ivy for a minute, the governor, Kay Ivy. Then they talked about Alabama for a minute and Auburn for a minute, and then they said, "Oh, and in other news, guy in Alabama gets caught. Reality TV star gets caught making moonshine in Alabama." They talked more about that than they did down football that day on the SEC network. So they was hard up on some news. When they could talk about Joe Biden or anything else, they was worried about me making that little bit of liquor.
Well, a little bit of liquor, like 7 gallons. Come on, man.
Yep.
That's
if I played it, it'd been more than 7, but they got me with 7.
Yeah, but like how much more?
Yeah, there's
realistically.
Think about it, man. In the grand scheme of things, like I can only imagine some of the shit that some of these people are running these days. 7 gallons, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like that ain't even a whole run.
No,
like if you're running something substantial, you're running a 50, like that ain't even a whole run. Like,
no, I was about halfway through with it. Well, like I say, I went in there and it heated up, and right before I started running, I went in for the house for a minute to get. I don't forget what I went in for, and like I said, I didn't get to go back out. That's when they was banging on the door, telling me search warrant, and it run for another probably 30, 35 minutes. So I probably still had several hours to go in the run if I was uninterrupted.
Well, shit happens, I guess.
I'm telling you, it does. And it happens in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, no longer than I'd walked out of my shed and walked in my house. I'm talking about less than 2 minutes. I was surrounded, and basically the SWAT team was there. Yeah, they was ready to get me off the street doing that bloodthirsty liquor making shit.
Yeah, mean, destroying communities and scaring women and children. You know how it is. So.
It's just a hobby. It's not like
Yeah,
some people are trying to make a living doing it, but you all know just as well as I do. If you are, then
you
ain't
making
a lot bigger.
Yeah, you ain't making a living with 7 gallons.
No.
that you ain't making that ain't shit. Like it's nothing. Like
I hadn't run in a little while up till then. That was the first run I started back at because I was actually honing in the recipe and was working on a legal label that was going to come out in the distillery here soon. And so that was basically the last time I was going to run it anyway. And the guy told me, said, "Look, I wish you'd had a permit." I said, "Well, hell, this was the last time I was going to run it." I said, "I got a legal label coming out." I said, "But this is probably going to fuck that up." And but luckily it hadn't.
Yeah.
Good.
So you're talking about this legal label, and so tell us a little bit about what you got going on with that.
Yeah, me and Jimbo Bray partnered up shortly after my Master Distiller aired, and we got up with a guy out of Nashville, and he approached us about doing this show, Alabama Shine. So we recorded a few episodes of that, and had that going on. But anyway, we teamed up together. We just partnered up with a guy that was just on Master Distiller last week. Mike Burdett won the Firefighter Challenge. He's from Clay County, Alabama. We kind of partnered up with him, and here in the near future, we all three co-collaborated with a recipe that's going to come out known as Alabama Homegrown in the near future.
Ooh, nice.
Hell yeah. Alabama homegrown. I like that.
Yeah.
You have to give me a bottle of that since that's released.
What's that?
So I'm gonna have to get a bottle of that when that's released.
Yeah, we hoping won't be much longer that we'll have everything done and released and out to the public.
Nice.
We're looking forward to that.
So, what kind of still are you guys running that on? I'm just curious.
Oh, where at the distillery?
Yes, sir.
Well, we actually ain't run it yet. But the one that you referring to that they was looking for was a 600-gallon stainless steel. Well, the head on it was like a dome copper head. It went up to about a 12-foot column, and then it had about a 12-foot shotgun condenser on it.
Yeah, that'd be something to run in the middle of the woods, wouldn't it?
I'm telling you. That's why I don't see no building big enough to hold that 600-gallon steel. Where's it at? And that's what I told him. I'd carry him to it. He said, well, it's got to be in the woods. We searched close in the woods. How far we got to go? And I told him it was about 212-mile walk. We had a good little hike. Yeah.
Man, when it came up empty, what a waste of money. I was thinking, what a waste of money for nothing, you know.
It wasn't for nothing. They got 7 gallons.
Yeah, it was nothing. It was nothing.
Well, I'm still in jail. They bird dogging Jimbo up in Carbon Hill, trying to stop him twice, trying to catch liquor on him. And Jimbo told them. They actually mentioned Jumbo's wife. They said, well, I'm sure that black car, your wife probably got liquor when it leaves your house. And Jimbo told him, said, look, square up where your body cam can see me close. I'm not going to be harassed because we got this new TV show coming out. And it's the second time you done stopped me. Said, my lawyer's going to want a copy of this cam footage. And y'all finished up harassing me. So it wasn't a few days later. He didn't stop Jumbo, but he pulled into the store there. And he kind of pulled in sideways and was staring at Jumbo. Well, Jumbo picks his phone up to call Shannon, and it looks like he had the camera up. Well, the guy takes off. Well, the next day, his wife sees drones flying around his building there. And that's all why I'm in jail the next day.
So, let's tell us a little bit more about the TV show you got going on, Alabama Shine.
Yeah, we teamed up with them, some guys out of Nashville, and it took us quite a while to get everything going. By the time we got kicked up, COVID hit full swing.
It seems to be COVID kicked a lot of people in the dick. A lot of the people had big plans and it really put things on the back burner. Really hurt.
That slowed everything down. So we had actually been working on it for about 2 years, and finally we got things situated, and they wound up signing a deal with the Country Network TV station out of Fort Worth, Texas, and they come up and actually filmed the first episode, and it was going to be all about moonshine and music. And the first week, musical guest was Jelly Roll. He come out and come to the still site, talk to Jimbo for a little bit, and we come out. He sung around a little campfire there for a bunch of us one night, and it was actually on the first episode of Alabama Shine, which can be seen on YouTube now.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It's good shit.
Yep, and we shot the second episode out in Texas at the Asheville Country Music Network studio, and it come out on Country Network, but it's not on YouTube yet. Yeah, I'm thinking it may be available on YouTube for too much longer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping to watch that, and I fucked up and missed it because I'd like to see the second episode on that.
Well, see, the second episode, we filmed the second episode probably 6 weeks before I went to jail, and it couldn't happen no better, though, because there was a retired federal judge was actually on the show and was brought to the still site to judge some liquor, and he actually makes the remark that, he tells his story about he used to be in Alabama and he went to Vietnam, got out of Vietnam. He settled in Texas and wound up being a federal judge for 25 years. And he'd actually wrote felony warrants for all sorts of shit. And he said even for bootlegging and making liquor. And he says, but I'm kind of partial to them Alabama boys. He said, what I just tasted, it tastes good. I think it ought to be against the law for them guys to be arrested for making this illegal liquor. Well, sure enough, 6 weeks later, I got arrested for making that illegal liquor I shouldn't have got done for. So it made it look like we had done it after that because of that, but it actually went the other way around.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of history down there in Alabama for making liquor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Al Capone used to get a little bit of his liquor from Alabama back in the day.
Hell yeah.
So way up, get it from up in New Stratsville too.
Yep.
It was a liquor connoisseur, you know.
Yep.
Like to get shit from everywhere.
Yeah.
But so, do you use any are you a bread yeast guy, or is that like one of your secrets? Or you?
No, I pretty much just go online and order the Red Star Daddy at the dry distiller's yeast.
Okay.
I don't measure.
Works.
A lot of people takes and it says so many grams per gallon. I don't do none of the measurements. After I get my mash made, I just kind of take the pack and just kind of lightly coat dust.
Yep.
Get the dust in the top of area surface of the mash barrel. Kind of give it a good coating, dusting over top of it, and
measure with your heart.
Yep, stir it up. Put the lid on it. I don't ever do the measurements on that.
Just measure with your heart, as my buddy Bennett would say.
That's right. So after you do it long, you kind of know about what you need to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's like dollars and cents. If it don't make sense, or dollars that don't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, but what the hell? So when I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Man, Sean's thinking we're in trouble.
Yeah, I ain't got no liquor tonight. That's the problem.
And he ain't even having an apple pie tonight.
That's what he needs.
Still remnants from last week.
He's not swaying and slurring yet, so depends on how much longer this goes.
Yeah.
I think the wife told him he wasn't allowed to hit a jar tonight. It was apples only.
Oh, okay.
So
apples only. It was apples only last week too.
Yeah, it was a different type of apples. So.
Oh hell! But so, do you have any plans? So, are you going when you teaming up? Since you guys are teaming up there, or are you guys just doing that label, or do you have plans of opening up your own distillery down the road? Or
well, we actually got some big things coming up. We were still getting ready to do the Alabama homegrown, but where we was going to do it at, I kind of think it got too big too quick, and wound up wanting to go another direction. So we actually got some plans of actually opening a place of our own. We got some things in the works. Got a few meetings coming up pretty quick, and we're looking forward to being able to tell everybody about it once we get everything set in stone.
Awesome. Look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
if y'all ever need a couple of Ohio guests on the show, let us know, and I'll drag Sean's ass down there.
Okay.
Well, I'll start talking shit while Jimbo's in the comments. But
yeah, I'll bring him with me so he won't be late. And
yeah, well, I'm sure Jumbo and Sean will probably get in the argument of Roll Tide versus Ohio State.
OH.
Every time. Yeah, I'm sure here soon we're going to be seeing first on the football field and first in the still house here in a minute.
Oh, he actually said that on Alabama Shine's first episode when I can't remember exactly how it went, but something about Alabama number one on the field, number one at the still, or something to that effect.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He's something else.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I was a good guy.
So, do you have you ever ventured much into brandies at all? Or are you kind of a grain guy, or you just?
I pretty much done the grain guy, and I turn around with flavor some of the liquor I done, whatever. But now I have done a few brandies. But the best brandy I done was a peach brandy. But I put my own spin on it. I took some peaches, and I took and put them in the turkey pans like you have for Thanksgiving, the big aluminum pans, and had my son put them in the smoker and smoke some of them. But the smoky oak flavor to them. And actually mashed in with them. And then I'd actually use some of them in the thumper also, because I never use a thumper not unless I done the brandy. I done it just to infuse a little bit more flavor.
Man, not to cut you off, but it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people, they're like, no, brandy's run it one time, run done, no thumper. And I'm always like, no, I feel like using a thumper is way more beneficial with brandies. My opinion. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Like I took them smoked peach and mashed them with them, and then put some in the thumper, and it come out almost tasted like a aged peach brandy that you'd had to actually on some oak chips or in a barrel due to the smoking of them in the smoker there. A lot of that smoke flavor carried through on it.
I've had some smoked corn. Somebody smoked some corn, and that smoke pulls through. It's really good, and it's amazing how much flavor comes through just from smoking before you mash it.
Yep. That's like on the Master Distiller show. My episode was a little different. We didn't get to go to Still House. I won the first round, which was running the Jim Tom's Rye. And we actually had to go pick oak chips and do the rapid aging with. And I got the first choice of the oak chips when we went and picked them out.
Nice.
Kind of messed up on that. I put a little too many chips in. It was dark, which it didn't bother me, but the color was real dark compared to the rest of them. I kind of panicked. I said, well, I need to lighten it up a little bit. And I tempered it down with a little bit of water and where I should use liquor, and I kind of dropped my proof a little lower than what I should have.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. What all did he use? Kevin, is that his name?
Yep, Kevin.
What did he mash in? He had some kind of weird. Was it triticale or?
Yeah, he. I believe it was corn, rye. I'm not for sure. It was might have been wheat or something, but I know he used a hybrid grain triticale.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was using that because he wanted to give the judges something that they were kind of wasn't familiar with, something a little different. And it come out real well, and he done the oak chips just right, and it come out real well.
I'm not a fan of wood stuff, whether it's aged in barrels or chips or spirals or
right. You wouldn't believe it. The putting a few oak chips in it or the cubes or whatever. You wouldn't believe that it would change the profile as much as it would in the color in 24 hours. And it don't do a huge job, but it does change it quite a bit.
Just to give it that little oaky hint, a little vanilla hint sometimes, and it's amazing how quickly that wood can react and just completely change it.
Yep, and some people will take I seen what the fuck was his name, but anyway, like he aged some stuff. I think his name was Frank Hicks, where he hooked up a trickle charger, a battery charger to it.
Yes, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how well that would actually work.
He actually won a pecan, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
I believe it was out of Texas, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I seen that. And then he actually, it actually come out in the jar. It was looking aged. It was going in the jar.
Yeah.
Yep. So, if random question, if you had to go to the liquor store and buy a bottle of liquor, what would it be?
High Rock.
Let's see.
I ain't asking you, dickhead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step in there.
Oh.
Crown Apple?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But now, if we're talking about 6 months now, it'd be Alabama homegrown.
I'm looking forward to one of them myself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it's going to be a unique blend. Like I say, Jumbo being the first winner off Master Distiller, Mike just winning the Firefighter Challenge, and I come in second. Like I say, the judges actually made a remark during the Master Distiller when they was making a decision with me and Peter. They said that it took a long time to make the decision. We was wondering what they said, an hour, and it was like 3.5 hours. We were sitting over to her again, waiting to be called back. They actually made a remark that they would rather flip a coin and pick that winner than they would actually pick the winner.
Yeah. Yep. And some, I think a lot of times, man, it comes down to marketability,
At the very end of it, as it was going off, Digger walks up to me and said, Johnny, it was just a marketability thing we was having to look at, and then it goes off. Like I say, me making a corn whiskey and a 4-grain whiskey category didn't help none.
Yeah.
That was kind of a slip up on everybody's behalf. They asked me what my grain bill was. They knew what I was making, and that's where they put me. And about a little bit disadvantaged, but I didn't make excuses. I still held my own and done good.
Yep. And you know what, man? Well, I've seen a lot of people online in these forums and shit, and they beat up cracked corn. In my opinion, cracked corn is the way to go.
Yeah, that's all I use is crack. I use cracked corn.
Yep. As far as if you're wanting to save money or like you rerun it.
Yep.
That's
especially they say when you rerun it, you strip flavor each time, and you're taking your flavor away. Well, my experience, the way I did it, it actually added more flavor. It'd get a stronger corn flavor at the end of it. By the time I tempered it down, it was corn through and through, good and smooth.
Yeah,
running it again gets rid of that stank.
Yep,
and allows the grain to come forward.
Yeah.
So
it gets rid of the shit you don't want.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It comes out of higher proof, and then you got a lot cleaner liquor, and then by the time you temper it down, it's good, clean, smooth liquor.
So, do you notice a smaller yield since you rerun it? Like if you say you run 3 barrels,
right,
and you take your 50 gallon on it, say you collect 7-8 gallons, whatever, and you dump all that back into do you see a lot? Do you lose a lot?
Yeah, you lose quite a bit, but your proof comes out okay. The way I done it at the time, mine used to come out the first time. It'd come out between 130, 136, a little less, 140. I'd run it down to about 60, almost like most people do with a stripping run.
Yep.
And then I'd put it back in the still, and like I say, then it would come off instead of 140, it'd come off at about right below 180, about 176 on the usual. And then I would get less liquor, but then by the time I blended it all together and tempered it all back down to 100, you'd wind up with about the same as you did. You're just cleaning the liquor up a lot better and it's smoothing out.
Okay.
So it ain't a big difference in output once you do it all.
Yeah. Yep. That's one thing I'll tell you what, the first time, like I told Easy, first time I've ever reran anything. I mean, as far as
good liquor.
Yes. Yes. Was on the show. And it was real weird to me because I dumped it back in there and I'm like, fuck, there ain't nothing in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's
yeah. And about the weirdest thing I believe I've ever run. I say weird. I know everybody knows Killer Bees, the comedian.
Oh yeah.
He lives down in Mobile, not far from me. We buddies, and I ain't gonna call no names, but during COVID, he wanted to keep a lot of stuff on his YouTube page, and also he said when it opened back up, he wasn't kind of out of sight, out of mind. And anyway, I made a couple of videos with him. We went and collected, hunted, done some stinging bee hunting stuff he had done on the show, and then he actually come out and was poking fun at somebody for using pecans and a smoker on one of the shows. So he come out and he went to Walmart and bought 50 of the little miniature pecan pies you can get for like $2 for $1.
Yeah.
And he bought 50 of them. Well, he come out and done this little video, and he was getting ready to throw them away. He asked my cousin, where can I throw these 50 pecan pies away? In the dumpster? And I got to thinking, hell, don't throw them away. I said, that crust is the grain, you got the pecan. I said, all that filling ain't up a Cairo syrup or sugar. I said, hell, I'll take and run it so I can come up with you. And I carried them and mashed them 50 pecan pies in. And then I took and put a little sugar and a little brown sugar and some yeast in it, fermented them, and I run it. And man, I'm gonna tell you, it come out crystal clear, and it come out. You open the lid after sealing the lid, it smelled and tasted just like you was at Grandma's kitchen table on Thanksgiving getting ready to eat a big slice of pecan pie.
Yeah, I like pecan pie.
Yeah.
I like all pie, but I mean, tell I don't say no very often.
It came out real good, but it wasn't quite as sweet as what you would have at a pecan pie. So I added a little bit of caramel to it. We called it caramel pecan pie, and that sweetened it up. And basically a perfect marriage. You got everything blended together, and it was a real good jar.
Nice.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, trying to think what else there was I wanted to ask.
Trying to remember a bunch of stuff when we're off.
Yeah.
Me too. I'll be like, dude, I meant to ask this. But
Yeah.
either way, it's a good time.
Yeah, pretty highlights of my basically distilling career was master distiller, getting on there, that whole experience, and going to some of the festivals, and good or bad, they arrest. And then actually doing a little bit of Alabama Shine, and then looking forward to doing collaboration label with Jimbo and Mike, and putting out the Alabama Homegrown.
So, are you going to be able to? Do you have plans of making it out to Hillbilly Jam next year?
Yep. I was coming last year and caught COVID for the second time.
Yep.
The first time was with the motorcycle wreck, but I'll be out this year at Hillbilly Jam for the first time.
Nice. I'll see you there. I'll be there.
Good time, man. It's a good time.
Yep, I'll definitely get to see everybody. I've been to Hazard Fest and a few festivals, met a lot of people, but there's some people I hadn't got to meet yet through Master Distiller or so forth.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, it's been a good time on here, man. And
oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on and
yep.
You know, sharing your knowledge and your mishaps, and you know, and letting people know people to look up, stop looking down so much.
Yep.
You know, we really appreciate your honor to have you on here, man. And,
you know,
oh yeah, like I say, you with today's times, you know, like I say, everybody's in their phone a lot. You text messaging, or they'll you text message more people than you call most of the time, or you're on Facebook scrolling and you're looking down. But you need to glance up every now and then, because you can ask me or Jimbo, them drones is out there, and they watch you.
Well, that's the thing, you know, for everybody that, you know, for people that's watching this or that do, you know, they don't realize, they think, oh, you know, it's just a hobby. Well, they're still out there busting people for doing this shit.
Well, see, I was told too, you know, well, you know, they ain't out after, they got more problems than somebody making a little bit of liquor, and the ATF, you know, they got so many illegal distilleries they need to regulate, and they don't really care. As long as you ain't just out in town selling in front of a cop or doing stupid shit, or say a crackhead wrecks a car and jumps out and he comes across your still side as they chase him, they got to do their job. But other than that, they, you know, they say you ain't got to worry about it, but I'm here to tell you, they still actively out there looking, and they got an eye in the sky now that helps them out.
You know, I mean, you know, you're definitely, if you're home distilling, even you're doing something illegal, man, and you know, you gotta check your P's and Q's and watch your six, and you know, do what you gotta do to keep yourself safe.
Hey,
it's part of it, and you can't get complacent.
Yeah, just like Tickle said on the show, ain't nothing illegal till you get caught. Well, by
damn right.
Yep. And you know what, though? That's a story that you're going to tell your grandkids, and you know, I mean, it's,
you know, your great grandkids might run a distillery and talk about how their great grandpa, you know, got busted with, you know.
Yep.
So
like I say, my mentor taught me. I mean, I followed in his footsteps, making liquor, and he taught me how to make liquor and so forth. But I didn't want to follow his footsteps all the way to the jail. But that's what happened. But now he got caught several times before I did. He was a good guy. He had shirt off his back, but he had a reputation around here. You definitely didn't want to have him as an enemy. And his wife told me his wife passed away a few years before he did from a brain aneurysm, and he passed away a year ago, December, about a week ago, a year ago. And she told me years ago, the day she had arrested him, the day she had married him 40 years ago, that he had already been arrested 68 times.
No shit.
For some kind of something.
Yeah.
And he'd already been arrested a lot since then. And I went down one day on the Alabama Shine show. They wanted him to come up and be a part of the first episode. Well, he had actually got jaw cancer, had cancer in his jaw. And he was tough. Anyway, he had some bad teeth, and they was going to pull his teeth because they said something about the radiation will mess with it. Well, he went to a dentist, and they gave him a price of like $8,000 to pull some teeth. He said, I ain't paying that shit. He goes home, takes the pliers, pulls them his damn self. Yep. He was tough. But I definitely didn't mean to follow him all the way to the jail. But hey, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, well, you know, he's looking down like, fucker, I told you.
You dumb son bitch.
The first episode of Alabama Shine, they asked me. They had a guy helping me as a still hand. His name was Greg, but he actually liked collecting cuckoo clocks. So his nickname was Cuckoo. Well, they was wanting to create a little drama, I guess. They told me to get on his ass about leaving sugar sacks on the ground. And I told him, I said, you can't leave the sugar sacks on the ground. The corn sacks, I said, come by here and catch them. I said, they can charge you with so many gallons of liquor that, per how many pounds of sugar they got there. I get on his ass pretty good on that show. And after I got arrested and got out, me and Jimbo was talking three-way with somebody. And he asked me, well, Sean, y'all call him Sean's daddy, better known as Rick Gibson.
I knew he'd make this show.
Man,
it took 1 hour, but Sean's dad made it to the show.
Yeah, and Rick told me, he said, Johnny, do you have any idea what Cuckoo's phone number is? I said, no, not right offhand. Why? He said, I won't call him, tell him you didn't burn the fucking sugar sacks. You got caught.
Oh, shit.
So are they all? Is Cuckoo on the second episode, or is that something?
No, believe it or not, he ain't on the second episode. I really don't know what happened there. Him and the producer kind of had a little fallout, or don't really know what happened. I just know that he was told he was done, and he didn't show up out there at Country Network in Texas to film, and I have no idea really what went down there.
Yep. Well, I hate to hear that.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll have somebody else out there helping me, or bring somebody else on, or they'll figure something out, I'm sure.
Well, if they want a what's the word I'm looking for? A
master,
a rival. Come on up to Ohio.
I hear you. Hey, I ain't gonna call no names, but somebody asked Jimbo at a festival, hey, I hear y'all got that show Alabama Shine going. I said, man, I'd like to maybe be on it. I said, what does it take to be on it? And Jimbo looked at him and said, first thing, you got to be from Alabama. Goddamn, you got to be from Alabama to be on it.
You have to venture out eventually, man. You might as well just come on and get y'all some Ohio boys up in there,
Hey, all jokes aside, Master Distillers had a lot of different states represented, but I believe three of the strongest has been Alabama, Ohio, and West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you every time.
They've had a lot of people from them states, and everybody's fared real well, like Alabama. Jimbo won. Jonathan, his nephew, won. Brian Battle won with the Papa's Grappa.
Mm-hmm.
Mike just won the Firefighter Challenge. I mean, Ohio's had quite a few. West Virginia, Tony Perry and that bunch out there. So I believe that's the three strongest states as far as.
Well, I feel like it's a matter of time before they start bringing people back for an actual state showdown or something.
Yep. Like
region versus region. A little region versus region. Like, we're gonna get the Midwest versus the East versus the Southeast versus the Deep South, and then the West Coast. And
I believe it'd make a good show. Maybe have Alabama and Ohio go head to head 3-on-3. Winner right there, maybe face Virginia, West Virginia, or something, or any
let's get it
off of it.
I'll run anything anywhere. Let's get it.
That's right.
Except at home. I don't run anything at home.
Home, I'll send you away from home.
That's right. Anywhere else. So
I was away from home for about 26 hours.
We want all the smoke, Jimbo. We want all the smoke.
Yeah. He knows. Don't worry. He knows. Every time.
Jimbo must be in the comment section talking.
Yeah. I'm sure that Sean has. I'm sure he's expressed himself a few times. I'm sure he doesn't let him off easy. You already know. I hear his bullshit all the time, so I can imagine. So
I've seen a little rough rap back and forth between Sean and Jimbo on Facebook due to Ohio and Alabama, all that football talk.
Man, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. They're going to have to do something.
It's a rivalry. It's a love-hate relationship.
Oh, it is.
So.
But I'm going to tell you,
it's all love in the end.
As far as Moonshine community, I will say this. I rode bikes, was a biker too, and that's a big brotherhood. And I'm going to tell you, it don't get much bigger brotherhood than all of the Moonshiners out there. Mm-hmm. Everyone I've ever met's been good people. Get your shirt off their back, help you any way they can. And I was glad to make all the connections I did with Master Distiller and further my brotherhood a little bit on a different scale of what I did.
That's what I'm so thankful for with the Moonshine community is just the friends that I've made, who you see more like family now than you never thought you would have. And then just the new people you meet. It's like every time you come across somebody new, they're an amazing person. It's like, shit, I can't wait to meet you, Johnny, and have a drink with you. So, it's
that's like I'm
awesome.
In jail. So. I'm still in jail, and my son makes a post on Facebook. When it was all nationwide, you're gonna have some naysayers and talk shit. Some of them don't know nothing about liquor or for whatever reason. my son makes a post on Facebook, and I couldn't tell you how many people from the moonshine community reached out to him and want to know what county jail I was in and what the bond was. What could they do? I mean, it was a big outpouring of people wanting to help do what they could do in any way they could.
Yep. And it didn't take long, man, for the fucking world to find out about that.
I'm going to tell you, it happened pretty quick. My neighbor up the road actually seen the drones. Well, it was just starting to get a little bit cool in the afternoon. She said, well, hell, it's pot season. Everybody getting ready to harvest. She figured they was looking for pot plants. Well, by the time she realized what was going on, she didn't want to call down here because she know they done wrapped us up, probably had our phones. And anyway, there's another guy that don't live far from me that distills, and she took a picture of the drone, sent it to him. And he sent it to some other people. And hell, I ain't even in jail yet and been booked yet. People know that I was already caught and got caught with a drone.
Damn.
Yep. Well.
Yeah, and the man told me that he tried to tell me, said, I've been trying to catch you for 2 years, ever since you was on Master Distiller. He says,
it's like, man,
he said, I drove by your house several times and I ain't caught you yet. He says, and I drove by today, seen you in your shed, and I know they had you today. Well, anybody that knows me knows I live on a dead end. It's my house, my son's, and then my sister and brother-in-law's, and then we got about a total of 8 acres down here. You don't just drive by my house. You go by mine, past my son's, and turn around in my brother-in-law's driveway. And like I told them on Master Distiller when they done a little home thing, I said, look, we live on a dead end. You come looking for me, my son, or my brother-in-law, or we turn your ass around and get you out here pretty quick. So I know that I was being lied to right off the get-go.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was drones at the time until I got out and was seeing some pictures and was told a little bit more about what was going on.
Yep.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah. Well, like I say, all them resources are wasted. And they come right by 4 meth houses to mess me for a little bit of liquor.
7 gallons. 7 piddly ass gallons. Like,
yep, exactly right. It was 7 good gallons, but
I understand.
7 gallons.
I understand it was good gallons, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, like that ain't shit. But
no, and I've actually run way more than that before, but you know, 7 gallons that time, and it ended me up in jail and nationwide on the news, and couldn't even watch SEC football that Saturday. They talked more about me than they did Alabama, Auburn, or Troy, or anybody in Alabama.
I mean, do you blame them?
No.
Now, if Ohio State was on, then
Sean's throwing shots, man. All right, with that, we've been on here long enough.
Yes,
Jimbo, I know you're watching. Get him on that comment section.
Jimbo sending him just text message him, Jimbo. You'll be better off. So, but with that, we'll let everybody get out of here, man. Johnny, man, we greatly appreciate you taking the time to be on our show.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Had a good time.
You're more welcome back anytime you want.
Maybe we get our homegrown out and develop and get our distillery up and going. We can come back on here. And
hell yeah.
Where the distillery at, man, when the homegrown be released, and me and Jumbo and Mike's got a lot of big things coming out. After the homegrown comes out, then we're gonna release quite a few other different flavors and different other.
Next time we'll get you and Jimbo on here together. We can go 4 on here.
Sean might not want that.
He'll be all right, man. We don't.
I've already asked Jimbo.
On this show, we don't give a shit what Sean wants. So this is all for entertainment. If he had feelings and they could get hurt, we'd hurt him. But he'll be all right. So
let's roll off.
That's right.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for joining in, Sean. Thanks for hanging out with us, having a good time. I really greatly enjoyed this. Hope everybody has a great night. We're going to be back next Sunday at 9. I don't know who the guest is at Sean's apartment. He don't do much except get the host or get the guest. So
in the comments, I'll tell you that.
All right. So, but anyways, have a great night, Johnny. Have a great night, Sean. Everybody have a great night.
Let's hear everybody.
Let's everybody shine on.
Bushlight Apple.